Okay, guys. This is just a random screencast that I'm actually using more as a test, personal test for me, but it will be uploaded as well. Um, I'm using it to review my current desktop as well. Last time you saw me, I was running Ubuntu Linux on the very same system I'm using now. As I say, my backup slower system. Um, since then, I've gained excuse me. I've gained a small passion for the KDE desktop environment. Now, I didn't think I'd be that keen on it, to be honest, because I thought it felt, with the kind of like single panel at the bottom and stuff, and how it's all laid out, and with the start menu search, it would look too. It would resemble Windows too much. But I don't know. It's like similarities to Windows are only about as similar as the GNOME similarities to Windows. And I have to admit, I've started really enjoying using KDE now. Now, as you can see, this is my default desktop. I have timer running here, but this is usually in the place of this, I have a Facebook widget where I can post my status updates, etc., like directly from my desktop. I do appreciate that. And then my calendar, as usual, it stays on here. Um, Otherwise, I barely even know what day it was. And then this little widget thing is something that comes on most KDE distributions now. The KDE distribution I'm using, by the way, is OpenSuse or OpenSuse, whatever you want to call it, 11.2, I believe. The latest one, anyway. And yeah, this widget seems to come as standard on most of the KDE desktops now. Um, Obviously, I've customized my wallpapers into a slideshow as well. Now, here it's kind of a launcher, like a little launcher widget, where it basically displays the contents of a folder. Now, it has by default displaying the contents of the desktop folder. Now, I've customized this a little. I use Google Chrome as my default web browser. I had to install that myself. It's not in the repositories or anything. Um, and then I've also added a shortcut to terminal, always useful, even though I'll use the GUI and there's a lot, you can use the GUI for most things. Sometimes it may still be simpler to bring up a terminal, or if there's little things you want to fix or whatever and you're searching for the fixes, 9 times out of 10 the fixes will be terminal commands. Um, I've also put a shortcut to Conversation, which is the KDE's IRC client. On GNOME, I install, excuse me a minute, let me think. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. I install XChat. As I say, not the GNOME XChat, the actual XChat. I say I install that from the repositories, but there's no need for it here with Conversation client, because it's just as good. Default shortcut to OpenOffice, I believe here. I've not tried opening it yet. My computer, it basically gives system info and such, and it also includes shortcut to your home directory and a couple of other small directories. So it will show any removable storage and such connected. Amarok, that's the shortcut I put on. That's the it seems to be the default kind of audio media player with KDE. GNOME-based distributions tend to use Rhythmbox more as their default. Well, I have to say I'm perfectly happy with Amarok. I love the media player. Its features are fine to me. Coming from me, it's not got as much of the library customization features and such as iTunes does, which I use with my Windows system, but it's definitely good enough for now. Let's see how long I've got left. 5 minutes. Okay. Excuse me, I left my messenger running in the background there. Just try and ignore it. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get a bit intrusive. Anyway, this is your standard like KDE, I think they call it a kicker or kickoff or something, their standard menu, which resembles a Windows start menu to some levels, but you see here you'll select between favorites, applications, computer, recently used. That's different, and I do like the layout of that. You've got your search up here, which was introduced to Windows since Vista, I believe. But let's just say this has the stability and the fast running of XP, if not slightly more. And but it has kind of features more similar to Vista in Windows 7. You've got your favorite applications here, as I say, which you can kind of customize. Then your applications menu with your sub menus, pretty easy to find. Computer locations, as you see, I've got my removable storage drive there. It was picked up instantly, which I'm happy about. Recently used files, and programs by the looks of it. Applications, sorry. Yeah, applications start pretty fast as well. I mean, obviously there's the web browser I installed myself, but it doesn't take too long to start up, considering I'm on a much slower system than my usual system that you're used to seeing me on. As I say, full use of Google Chrome, just as much speed as ever. It won't take long to open a web page. Yeah, can't really fault it. I'm very, very happy with I'm happy with OpenSuse at the moment. As I say, I'm getting used to the Red Hat package management system. As I say, it's not that different to Debian, to be honest. Yeah, I seem to be relatively happy with OpenSuse at the moment. I was on KDE. I'm on KDE now. Let me correct myself there. I was on. Excuse me a minute. I was on. Another brain fart. I was on Kubuntu. That's Ubuntu's KDE distribution for a while, because I'd tried out OpenSuse. That was, that basically had the reputation as being the best distribution for KDE, or at least one of them, because of how well maintained it was and such. And like Ubuntu, because it's not Ubuntu's main project, it's not as well maintained. Anyhow, it, as I say, I was with Kubuntu and stuff, because this wasn't picking up my storage drive. I decided to give it another go, another install, picked it up instantly, so I guess it must have just been a dodgy install before, or I didn't have my drive connected properly. Either way, now I've got it all connected and everything, and yeah, it's great. I like how this is more customized and slightly better supported than Kubuntu. Kubuntu is great. That is definitely a very close second. But as well, this comes with all kind of supports for proprietary, formats and codecs and such, like automatically. For someone new to the Linux world, that doesn't have that many peripherals and will need to be using, and doesn't use their system for gaming, if you use XP or whatever, I would highly recommend this as a starter distribution, OpenSuse 11.2 as a starter distribution, because the similarities to Windows are enough to make it relatively easy for you to migrate. Ubuntu is a good starter as well, but there's still a little more you'll have to do with that one. Anyway, as you can see as well, I'm running out of time, so I will leave it there, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Thank you very much for listening.